Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you're in any kind of leadership role right now, you already know the sheer exhaustion that comes from facing this relentless, just never-ending barrage of difficult choices day in and day out. Decision fatigue is incredibly real. Honestly, we've all been there, right? Sometimes you catch yourself overthinking something as basic as what to order for a team lunch, let alone the actual high-stakes strategic stuff. It can literally drag even the most energetic leaders right down into the mud. But today, we're unpacking some insights from Ian Slade that completely flip this whole dynamic on its head. I was genuinely surprised by how practical this approach is. So let's dive right in and discover how we can rethink our day.
Okay, so let's jump straight into Section 1, the decision-making trap, and look at exactly why we tend to overcomplicate things. So Ian Slade asks this brilliant question here. Am I the only one who thinks decision-making is way harder than it needs to be? I want you to really think about that for a second. If you've ever treated a simple choice like it's a game of multidimensional chess, gathering endless data, holding meeting after meeting, just totally paralyzed by the weight of it all, well, then you know exactly what this feels like. It's frustrating. It's draining. It literally feels like you're wading through quicksand just to make a simple call. But here is the brilliant spoiler alert that Slade gives us. It absolutely does not have to be this way. No way.
Well, that brings us right to Section 2, the cost of complexity, and the very real danger of dead momentum. If you think about it, complex decisions are basically like a heavy anchor. And what do? Well, they slow your teams down, and they actively kill your momentum. Your overthinking is literally putting the brakes on your team's forward movement. But simple decisions, totally different story. They act like a catalyst. They surge faster progress. When you finally stop obsessing over making the perfect choice and instead just make a clear, simple one, you instantly inject energy back into the system. You unlock your team and finally just let them run.
So what's the ultimate antidote to all this stalled progress? It's a secret that sounds almost too basic. Simplify your choices. And honestly, that is exactly the magic of it. Radical simplification is the exact thing that separates struggling managers from elite leaders. If you want to stop killing your momentum, you literally have to ruthlessly cut away all the excess variables. All right, moving on to Section 3, the simplification playbook, where we see how this builds into actionable traits. So how do we actually pull this off? Here's the exact framework. Step 1, break things down. You've got to stop looking at the massive, terrifying whole and just chop it up into digestible pieces. Next, Step 2, ruthlessly focus on what matters. Strip away those vanity metrics, completely ignore the noise, and just isolate the core issue. And finally, Step 3, act fast. Don't linger. Once you have that core isolated, just make the call. Break it down, focus, act. It's a 1-2-3 punch that completely shatters complexity.
And that leads us right into what might actually be Slade's most powerful directive. Cut the noise. Trust your gut. Move forward. Just let that sink in for a moment. You have to stop listening to all the endless hypothetical warnings. You have the experience, you have the intuition, so rely on it. Move forward. Because forward motion is always, always better than perfect paralysis.
Let's bring this all home now in our final section. Lead smarter, not harder, and take a look at the final payoff.
Because ultimately, it all comes down to a very direct one-to-one correlation. Simple decisions equal faster progress. It's that straightforward. If you want to surge ahead, if you want your team operating at their absolute peak velocity, cutting complexity isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It is literally the fuel for speed. So, I'm going to leave you with this final challenge. The very next time you're faced with a totally daunting choice, catch yourself before you spiral into overthinking. Break it down, cut the noise, and make the simple choice. Ask yourself, are you ready to lead smarter, not harder?